At this rate, we might just stick here and listen to the music. But I know some of us are really focused on growing careers. That is the conversation we'd rather have. So good evening, everybody. How are you keeping? I'm just trying to open the chat to see who is here. Yeah. Hi, Jack. I hear you. 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 And yes, thank you so much, you guys, for being here. I apologize that we had to. Okay, sorry. I think I have not muted Facebook. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so how are you guys? It's really awesome to see you, and I'm really, really grateful that you would make the time. We apologize that we had to change the dates today because we had, I don't know whether the debate is still on or not for the Kenyans on the call. We were supposed to be having presidential candidates debate tomorrow. This is the first time we are actually switching the webinar series. We normally do it every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And I am excited that you guys could be as flexible as we had to be. And for some of you who actually were wondering what's happening, we apologize for any inconvenience caused, and we promise that this will be an interesting session. And I hope Saidi will not kill me for raising expectations. And oh yeah, sorry, Brian, you missed the music today. Yeah. You stay here until the end. All right, so my name is Grace Nzula. I am the host of Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Yes, if you're joining us for the first time today, this is a Get It Right with Atara Solutions. It's a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in entrepreneurship and employment. We have been doing this since COVID period. We did 26 episodes of season 1, 34 episodes of season 2, with one session being a live session. And then we are on about probably the 30th episode or what? Yeah, something like that of season 2. I can't even keep tab anymore. Yeah, and we have uploaded all this information on our Facebook channel, YouTube channel, Get It Right with Atara Solutions. If you're here and you're a business person or you're looking to go into business, you have a lot of information in there. If you're here, you're a HR professional or any career person, you have a lot of information there. If you're a creative as well, we hosted Johnston Mwakazi, who taught us more to do with your personal talent. So there's a lot on our YouTube channel. Please, you should go there. If you're joining us and you don't know about what we do, go in there, and I promise, even if you're going for an interview, there's a lot of information there for job seekers. And so we do this in partnership with a number of organizations. The first one being Balcon Housing. Balcon Housing is a real estate and property management company. If you're looking to invest in a piece of land, if you're looking to invest in property, then Balcon Housing will be the people for you. They do properties all over the country. If you own property and you're looking for people to sell for you, to get you buyers, then also Balcon Housing would support you in that. And then we have Stallion Construction Company Limited. Stallion Construction, as the name spells it, is a construction company. They do, if you're looking to repair your office, if you're looking to construct a home, if you're looking to renovate your offices, subdivide, change your tiles in the house, prepare a different room for the kids, or whatever it is, any changes in construction around your house, then Stallion Construction Company would do that for you very well. And if you're looking for training, Pathway Solution Services is our training partner. They have been offering a lot of people free LMS training. LMS means a learning management system. And quite a number of the people probably here have been able to win the free sessions. And currently we have offers for companies. He will offer free training to organizations between the month of August, September, October. So we will announce the offers for today. Yes, he has been kind enough to give us offers every week for the last couple of months. And Frank, we are really, really grateful, Pathway Solution Services, for supporting us in training and also offering our audience the sessions for free. And then we have Institute of Pension Management. If you're a HR professional, especially in Kenya, and you're looking to study CHRP or Certified HR Professional, then you need to book your sessions with the Institute of Pension Management, or rather IPM. They are located along Ojijo Road. They actually offer the training depending on how you want it. If you want to go there physically, if you want to also do it online, they will be able to set you up for that. So Institute of Pension Management, for any person here who is a pension management, who executes pension or manages pension schemes, and you're looking to up your game in that profession, then the Institute of Pension Management would be able to support you in all that. Anything that maybe you are stuck or you're looking to grow your career or diversify even for HR professionals, then Institute of Pension Management will be able to support you in that. And then we have Fina Gardens. Fina Gardens Resort is a resort located in Naivasha. By the way, I'm in Naivasha today. I'm sure some of you who are very keen have noticed my background. We are here for a project on the carpentry thingy that I do. So Fina Gardens is a resort located in Naivasha. They have an offer for Get It Right followers. If you're there and you drop my name, Grace Nzula, or you say you're from Atara Solutions, you will get a 10% discount. But if you book a holiday or stay with them in August, they will give you 2 nights for free. You can pay for 2 nights and 1 night will be free. So if you have a conference around August in Naivasha, you get to pay for, say, for example, coming on a Tuesday, pay for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday will be for free. Can you imagine that? And then we have Panessa Training Institute. Panessa Training Institute is a carpentry and woodworking training school. If you're looking to study carpentry or harness your passion, or just discover what more you can do with your hands, or you just have a team of technical people that you want to advance their skills, then Panessa Training Institute will be there for you. I happen to be the manager there, so if you come, you'll be able to meet me besides Atara Solutions. I keep telling people I'm the real definition of the gig economy. I do 3 jobs. And then we have WeClean. WeClean is a carpet cleaning company. They clean your carpet within 6 weeks. Imagine, I mean, gosh, at 6 weeks. Whew, 6 minutes. So imagine your carpet, if they pick up your carpet today, they'll be able to bring it back in the evening, and they do free delivery, free pickup and delivery around Nairobi. So we clean, carpet cleaning company. And then we have Kapula Mintito. Kapula Mintito sell coastal snacks like mabuyu. Baobab is called mabuyu. Yeah. And then they also have cashew nuts, they have sea moss powder, they have honey and all those things. Oh my God, you guys have Googled about sea moss powder, I hope. For men and women who are here, yeah, let me not talk about that because I might be fired. But yeah, the people at Atara Solutions, do not fire me. And then, so if you're looking for coastal snacks, then Kapula Mintito will be able to supply you. They do supply countrywide, but they're located in Mombasa. And if you're looking for proper mabuyu, not the one that is sold in Kongowea market, all right? And then we have the Career Management Center. This is the HR consulting firm. They have a program for moms who have taken a break for family. So if you're a mom who took a break so that you can take care of your family or take care of your children, then you're looking to bounce back into employment, then Career Management Center have a very, very awesome program for you. If you were here, please get in touch with me and we'll be able to link you up. And then we have Ames College of Business for all your diploma courses. And we have College of Career Guidance and Development that offer a diploma in career guidance and development. So we appreciate you, our partners. Thank you so much for keeping it here, and I hope that you guys can learn more. So yeah. Yeah, so I have seen a comment. You need to make a webinar on that powder. It seems you're holding back on some important information. Yes, I am actually. So if you get in touch with me, definitely I will be able to link you up. So on to the business of the day. Tonight, we are looking at growing your career beyond borders. And we happen to be hosting a friend of mine who is a HR professional. And the one thing that has really, really impressed me about him is the focus and how intentional he is about his career. And I think he has quite a lot for us tonight. And if you're wise, I hope you brought in a notebook or you have tuned in with your notepad on the phone, because there will be note taking to be done. And I have seen Nelson asking, are we all leaving Kenya? Yeah. And then just part of our announcement, we have a training happening on Friday. I will be moderating a panel session on Friday on HR metrics and tools and analytics. Yeah. And we will be privileged to be present for the first ever launch of an app for HR analytics and metrics. So I will be sharing information about that before we finish, because there's a 10% offer for those of you who are on this call. And for those of you from Uganda and the whole of East Africa community, or you're in Brussels with Said, we will see whether we can have an online session. I tell you, HR analytics, if you were in the call last week, you'd know that we were told you cannot run away from numbers. So, and you know, I get paid to talk. So allow me to give our speaker the opportunity to do the same, because this is not my show. I am only a facilitator. Yeah, so I have removed myself from the limelight. And Said, what is your favorite food? Just out of curiosity.
I'll go with the Ugandan dish of matoke. I'll go with matoke and beef. Let me be very Ugandan today. Matoke, which is bananas and beef. That will be my favorite meal today.
I still have not recovered from the fact that, okay, I'm told my internet is not stable. I have still not recovered from the fact that matoke is food. I'm still yeah, so Saidi, tell us, how do we grow our careers as professionals, and how do we position ourselves for the global market?
All right, thank you so much, Grace, for the very, very wonderful introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in this evening. I'm really honored to be part of the session today with Atara Solutions. I've followed them for quite a while, since we met with Grace at the IHRM conference in Uganda. And I think this is really a great platform for us to all meet together and share some brilliant ideas. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. We'll be spending the next 1 hour just sharing on how HR can grow beyond the borders. But I know that most of us, and some of us on here, may not be HR professionals, because we're all connected in a way. So this will not only apply to HR professionals, but also anyone who's looking to grow their careers beyond the borders. A bit about myself, maybe before I start. I'm Saidi Alikwani. I'm formerly the Director of Professional Development at the Human Resource Managers Association of Uganda. And it's the association that takes HR in Uganda. And I served in the last term. Now we've got to elect the new government or council in Uganda, similar to the same time that you did in Kenya. So it's really been an honor, and I'm really passionate about people. And today I'm just hoping that I can share a bit about myself, but also give you some tools on how you can be, if you desire to go beyond Kenya, Uganda, East Africa, how can you do this? I know most of us sometimes ask these questions, but we don't have the arena to do so. And I'm glad that Atara Solutions has brought this topic here, and we can be able to share. So a bit about myself. Currently I work in Brussels, like Grace has mentioned, and I'm the Human Resource Officer with the World Customs Organization here in Brussels, and I lead the HR function here. Before that, I was with the UN in Budapest, Hungary, and before that, I was in Uganda. Before that, I was in the UK, then Tanzania. So I've moved quite across the world in search for opportunities, but also to deliver what I'm really passionate about. And hopefully I can be able to highlight on how you can move and be able to progress in your careers. So I just want to get into it right away. And I'll just say, growing beyond borders is really quite a very broad topic. And as you know, we are the East African community at the moment, and we're meant to be having a common border, isn't it? There should be freedom of movement of labor from one country to the other. And I know most of the regional companies have tried to do this. I see a hand up. I hope Grace will pick that up. Hopefully we can be able to share in the next 30 minutes. Then I'll be able to answer any questions that might be coming up. Sorry, I saw the hand, but I may not be able to respond. Maybe Grace can support me with that. So just to give you the focus, what we will be looking at. So there are various reasons why we're trying to grow beyond our borders. Sometimes it's financial. We're trying to get a better pay. If you're living in a competitive market like Kenya, where they're paying quite good salaries, maybe someone from a smaller economy might want to come to earn better pay. Some of us are really thrill seekers. We're looking for an experience, a challenge, living and working in a new culture. So this is an opportunity for us to go out there and do that. And sometimes you cannot find work in your own country. So maybe the opportunities are limited. And as you know, we're graduating, so many of us every day. And there are just so many jobs that you can do in a country, unless you're seeking for self-employment. So sometimes the best opportunities might be going beyond the borders. So whatever the reason that you're trying to go beyond the borders, we want to show you how you can be able to do that. So if you're thinking East Africa, if you're thinking Africa, or the Western world, the Western Hemisphere, or the world in general, or the global South, and that's including all the countries that were previously called the third world countries. So wherever you think you're growing in your career, we want to offer you that solution. But the question that I keep asking many people, are you ready for this opportunity? How are you ready? And 42% of international assignments were expected to fail, according to a survey that I followed. And many people go out there, and 42% of the times they give up and go back to their home countries. Another survey that I looked at indicated that 76% of respondents indicated that family or personal circumstances was the top reason for rejecting an international assignment. You know, most of us have families, and many a time we are influenced by the family. Can I live and work in a foreign country? Would I be able to relocate with my family? These are the questions that we grapple with. And so at times you find that going beyond the borders is for people that maybe are still single, or they don't have kids yet. So where the ties are not so strong that you can leave and come back at your will. So these are things that already, as the surveys show, that it's a big concern in the many markets, and we need to be aware of this. So I wanted to share with you a story, which is really as recent as 2 weeks ago. I've got this good friend of mine who recently joined the African Development Bank. And the interesting story about him is that this has been a dream that he's been seeking for the last 6 or 7 years. And what happened was that when he got the calling to go and join the African Development Bank, which is really, for those who may not be familiar with, it's the leading development bank in Africa. And worldwide, it's among maybe the top 10 in terms of paying jobs out there. So it's really a big deal. And he got this job. He was excited. And as soon as he arrived in Cote d'Ivoire, in Abidjan, he called me 2-3 days later and told me, Said, you know what? I want to give up. I feel like I should go back to my good job in Uganda. I think this is really a big challenge. I don't see my matoke, I don't see my ugali, I don't see my potatoes. I'm talking aloko, acheke, poulet, poisson, all the different foods that he has never experienced before, all the seafood, and he feels that this is not the thing for him. So I had to counsel him on the side, and I said, well, what you're going through is really what everyone does when they decide to move. You get excited, you get this big offer, but when you get on the ground, the reality sinks in. And ladies and gentlemen, and that is the really culture shock. For those who may not be familiar with culture shock, it's that reaction that you experience when faced with cultural realities, which are not similar to what you've been used to in terms of expectations and the norms. So the culture shock is really a term that was coined in the 1950s to really speak to this, going into a new place where they have different norms, expectations, and initially you're very excited, which is really the honeymoon phase. You're so excited, like he was excited. Oh, I'm flying out. I'm going to this. He flew via Nairobi, then to Cote d'Ivoire. He's getting in. They're speaking French. All looks exciting. So he was in the honeymoon phase. He's lasted a day or two. And immediately he got there, he faced the culture shock. You know, what time? 3 hours, Cote d'Ivoire, 3 hours ahead of behind Uganda. And so he was already, when he's waking up, people are already looking to go have their lunch. So the culture shock was there. And really the things that they're speaking to are about the openness, the acceptance, the trust, or the fear, the suspicion, the prejudice that you have with these different communities. And so initially the honeymoon phase is meant to be nice, but some people really go into the shock immediately at the beginning. And it's important to realize this. That's why many organizations that are really recruiting people, you need to have a human resource function that's responsible for onboarding people and really ensuring that they settle in the country that they're going to. Some of these big organizations like the UN have these things in place. They have protocol officers that are really responsible to introduce you and really ensure that you adapt very easily. So many of us, when we get there, it really starts sinking in. And I'm telling you, I've moved to more than, I don't know how many countries now, but every time I move, really, I get the shock. The last experience when I moved to Brussels, it was during winter. And, the nights are by 2 p.m., it's getting dark. It's really getting very frustrating. If you're not really, really strong enough, you just want to pack up your bags and go back home. So that initial shock, while you're preparing when you get here, you really get that shock. The food is different. Everything is different. You don't have any friends that you can talk to. So you don't have a telephone. You don't have a bank card. So many of these challenges that you face at the initial stage could really sometimes break your, I've seen people that have quit within a week or two of getting to it. They would say, no, this isn't for me. I'm leaving. So the honeymoon phase, really, once you're beyond that, you get into the culture shock. And it's here that really you need to find the coping mechanisms to help you through this. It's the frustration, it's the confusion, it's the tension, you're embarrassed. Many times you get in there, you get to the train station, you don't even know how to use them to get into the train. And people are looking at you and wondering, how could someone be this old and not know how to get into a train station? So you get embarrassed, you're tense because you've never probably used a metro. The confusion that comes with not being surrounded by your friends. Many of us are senior people in Kenya, Uganda. Probably you have your own car, and here you are, you can't even, you're working and maybe using the bus. So things that you haven't used before in 10, 15 years is what you have to adapt to. So it can be very, very challenging. I see Nancy's hand is up. I'm just going to try and maybe confirm and see what she has to say. Please, Nancy, feel free to write in so we can see amazing discussion. Thank you, Evelyn. So beyond this point, we need to get to the recovery stage. And many times, this is really where we want you to be. How do you cope with this change? And the advice they give us is you have to be observant, you have to listen, you have to inquire, and through your colleagues, through friends, through online, there are lots of online expert support groups that you could join and be able to really understand the norms within this place. Probably it's a different language. For example, here they speak Dutch and French and German and then English. So you need to probably go enroll to school and be able to understand how do they behave, how do they greet, what's the response in terms of time, do I come on time, do I come before time? So all these different ideas, we need to find them so that we can cope better. But if you can't cope, you're going to get into the stage where you're criticizing, you're saying, these guys are this. You start, generalizing and putting in place all these different things just because you can't cope with that. And inevitably you withdraw, you get depressed, which affects your work. You can't even cope. So in essence, we need to find how we can deal with this. And if we do, we create the rapport, we create the understanding, which will help us settle into our new homes and be able to really deliver in these new jobs that we have, instead of being alienated and isolated. So ladies and gentlemen, culture shock is really one of those big things that I would like to emphasize. I can't emphasize it strong enough. It's really one of those things that will either make or break you. You know, they tell you, oh, these guys do things like this. But even just going to neighboring Kenya, you know, from Uganda, you cross over to Kenya and you start seeing how different they make their nyama choma, how different they make their soup. You know, you might be longing for the way the Ugandans make it, but you need to adapt and find how to deal and cope with these mechanisms so that you're able to deliver and adapt in your new, hopefully nice job. So moving on from here, all right, so where can you find work? So really, now that we're out of the culture shock, many of us are either in the private sector or we're in the humanitarian and international development organizations. Here on the screen, I've got just a couple of logos of some of the famous companies where I think you could find work. Myself right now, I'm in the international development organization sector. And so there's quite a lot of work that's being sought in these areas. And it's skill sets that we possess, whether you're finance, whether you're procurement, whether you're human resource like myself, you're able to then translate these skills and be able to deliver. So when you're looking for work, where do you start from? There are loads of big private sector companies. You've got the likes of the MTNs, you've got the Stanbic banks, you've got the Standard Chartered banks, you know, so many that are either within the region of East Africa, even the big Kenyan firms, for example, UAP and the likes that are already within the region. You could look to work with them in a different country, or you get involved and work with the humanitarian organizations outside your border, the likes of the UN, UNICEF, World Food Program, the Red Cross. The African Development Bank is one that I really rate highly. So many of these are opportunities that we can see. So depending where you are, please don't be, I don't want us to box ourselves and say, I've always been in the private sector, so I'm going to stick to that. You need to be with the skills. Your skills really can cross any sector. I've worked in utilities. I started out at Oxfam in UK. I moved to the utilities in the UK, and then I moved to set up my own NGO, and then I moved into the private sector in microinsurance. Then from there, I moved into the automotive with SGS. SGS is also in Nairobi. And from there, I moved into utilities. And so you can see, and then to the UN organizations. So let your skills be able to not be boxed in one area. You can move and deliver, whether it's in private sector or in the INGOs out there. So where the opportunity calls, as long as you have these skills, please feel free to go there and deliver. And what are these career stages that many of you will ask? I know this is a question that comes up quite often. At what point are you in your career? And I've given you two maps here that I would like to share with you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a member CIPD, which is the Chartered Institute of Personnel Development in the UK. And we band our experience on 4 bands. And basically, there is the basic one where you're delivering the fundamentals. And we've got the advisor, and then we've got the consultants. And then finally, we've got the fellows who are really the leaders, the colleagues that are delivering on the strategy. So whichever phase that you are in your career, there are opportunities for you to start from band 1. I see now many organizations that are offering internship opportunities for people that are recently out of university. So if you're just out of university and you think you are ready, look out for these online websites and see that, and take an internship in France, in Italy, in the UK, because they're looking for young African students like us to come and then share this experience. So whichever part of your experience, don't feel shy that it's only for the 10, 15-year experienced colleagues that we have. No, anyone can be able to deliver from here. So from here, whether like I said, from band 1 to band 2, where you're 3 to 5 years experience, you could go as an associate, and then maybe as an officer, and then as a manager in the band 4. And if you're coming from the international development, the likes of the UN, we're looking at, you can see clearly from here, we have the internships, we have the junior careers, we have the service, we have the mid-level, the senior executives of 10+ years, and the senior executive careers of where you're a director, which is 15 years of experience. So wherever your experience is, you just need to take a check on yourself and see, where do I belong? What level am I at? And what can I do? And once you do that, you'll be able to then deliver very successfully and apply for where you fit in. One caution that I give you is that many of these international organizations stick to the conditions that they put in place. If they ask for 5 years of experience, they're not going to take you with your 3 years of experience. Many of us tend to apply for jobs that we are underqualified for. So if you're not qualified for a position, it's asking for 6 years progressive experience. Please make sure you have 6 years of experience before you do. Otherwise, you're going to get frustrated applying for jobs that you don't meet the criteria. Many of them have ERPs that are able to, or applicant tracking systems that are able to sort out and remove people that don't meet the minimum criteria. If they're asking for 2 languages, French and English, or 2 international languages, and you only mention one, it's not going to take you to the next level. So make sure that you meet the minimum requirements that are asked, and then you can then apply for these positions. So these are 2 routes that you could look at and see where you fit. Normally, you need to have a master's degree. And I'll speak for the international development route. You need to have a master's minimum for most of these jobs. So if you're still on the bachelor's, just know you're a billion people that are on bachelor's level right now. And so you need to have a minimum of a master's, whether it's in Kenyatta University, Makerere, it doesn't matter. All those are very good universities. Just make sure you have your master's degree before you then apply for most of these experiences. And I'll move into the competencies. I know the competencies, here, Grace wanted it to be HR professionals. And so I really tuned it in here for HR professionals. And this is the Society for Human Resource Managers in the United States. It mentions the competencies that they think you need to have as a HR professional in order to apply yourself globally. They're looking at things like leadership and navigation. They're looking at the ethical practice. How do you integrate core values, your integrity? These are things that are really at the top of the tongues of most people. Your business acumen, how do you understand, if you're in the private sector, how do you understand the business? Are you able to offer that strategic advice that they're looking for? By the way, Grace, if I'm not moving fast, please, you alert me because I might get carried away and speak the entire evening.
I will just charge you for that.
Thank you. All right, so relationship management, consultation, critical evaluation, global and culture effectiveness. If you're going to work globally, you need to be able to appreciate cultures. You need to have the empathy for different cultures. If you have your biases, you need to work on those before you even try to get in here, because you're going to work with people from across the world and they come with different understandings. So you need to be able to appreciate the differences and really use that to ensure that we achieve the goals of the organization. You need to be a very good communicator, and more so, you need to have your HR expertise. We shall be looking more about the HR expertise that we need to be having. But what is your expertise? Are you someone that is a specialist, or are you a generalist? And which areas are you really focused on? And this also still speaks from the SHRM in the US. They're looking at the behavioral competencies, and this is what they believe should be the behavioral competencies that a HR professional globally should have. Leadership and navigation, I already mentioned some of these: consultation, critical evaluation, communication. And then we're talking about people. When we're dealing with people, we're talking the strategic planning, talent acquisition, employee engagement, learning and development, reward management. If you can understand these, then you can specialize in these areas. And if you're looking at, as an organization, you're looking at as OD or OE. So as an OD or OE, you're looking at the structure of the HR function, you're looking at the strategy, you're looking at workforce management, you're looking at employee and labor relations, you're looking at technology management. Stephen, I see your hand is raised. I will let Grace handle that in the chat. Or in terms of the workplace, you're looking at the global context, you're looking at diversity and inclusion, you're looking at risk management and corporate social responsibility. So these are some of the skills and the knowledge that you as an HR professional, if you really want to cut it with everyone in the world, you need to analyze yourself and take a check and see, where do I fall? Do I have a good understanding of leadership and navigation? Am I a good communicator? Can I deal with the global culture? Am I really tuned in to understand some of these concepts? And so if you are, please, you're ready for a career in the global context. I did mention about whether you're a HR generalist or specialist. And this is really, normally when you're HR generalist, which I was at the beginning of my career, when you're an assistant, normally you're given many areas. You're saying, you're working on L&D, you're working on performance management. Normally you work across very many, not even in HR, but in many functions. You tend to do almost everything. You're jack of all trades. And so it's a good, I'm a bit biased because I come from a generalist background, but it's good to be grounded by having quite a wide knowledge. And and normally we start with very small companies, which tend to do, it has only a manager and an assistant. You do everything from payroll to onboarding to recruitment, to learning and development, which really gives you the skill set that you can then go on to specialize in. If you're looking to join the very big organizations like the African Development Bank, they might have a team of over 50 or 100 HR professionals, or even 200. So you're not going to do everything. You're only going to specialize in these institutions. You're going to be payroll management, you're going to do L&D, you're going to do performance management, and that is where you're really going to cut your teeth. You need to then show that you have a very good understanding of an area as a specialist. So you come as a generalist, you understand almost everything in an area, rather in the field, and then you specialize and really get that core knowledge so that everything to do with L&D, if say, for example, you are an L&D specialist, you can do it. So ladies and gentlemen, you need to then have a bit of both in my own understanding. You need to be a generalist at the beginning, and then you specialize, because all the big organizations, you're not going to do everything unless you're the director, which again, you manage maybe 5, 6 different managers who are specialists in the different areas. So at the beginning and at the end of your career, you can be a generalist, and in between you need to specialize if you're really targeting the big organizations. That is something I wanted to share here. And I mean, there is no right or wrong, but it's just really, you need to have at least an idea on everything, and then quite in-depth knowledge if you're going to be an expert. So you might ask yourself, where should I be an expert? I did already mention that East Africa is a good place to start. Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and South Sudan, all these countries that are within us now, Rwanda, Burundi. If you are willing to start from here, you will be able to then be in close proximity to where you can apply your skills. But if you cannot, Internations came up with something, what they're calling the best and worst places for experts to work in 2022. And I looked for Uganda and I couldn't see it here, but I saw Kenya as number 13. Kenya apparently is a very good place to work. I enjoy my time whenever I come there, partly because they're my in-laws, so I enjoy coming to Nairobi. But I think also Nairobi is a very big financial city, and there's quite a lot of development that's going on. So worldwide, it's ranked number 13, Kenya. And you see the top 5, they're saying it's Mexico, Indonesia, Taiwan, Portugal, and Spain. And you've got the UAE, you've got Vietnam, you've got Thailand, Australia, and Singapore as the top 10. They only rank 50 countries, so the rest have not been really ranked, but it gives you an idea of some of the best places that they're saying you can work as an expert. And they're using different criteria of why this place is best. Is it the ease for you to settle in? Is it for the ease for you to get a work permit? They have different criteria that they are basing on to come up with why this place is the best. And these are just the top 50. So there is no worst here. The worst have not been included. So ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're going to go, I think we will go into deep an understanding of whatever country you're going in, what are the norms, what are the requirements when you get there. But this can give you sort of an idea. In Africa, we have the southern part, we have East Africa as well in there, and then we have the Western world mainly, and a bit of global south in here as well. So hopefully this gives you an idea of where you can go and be able to work. So I wanted now to bring us back to, as HR professionals, what is the barrier for you to relocate to these countries? I know many of us know that the local employment laws could be a barrier. Most of us are trained based on our constitution, our acts, our employment acts. So people want someone who has already these transferable skills, who understands the employment act, who can then be able to advise the organization from the start. So if you don't have these skills, sometimes it's very difficult for you to be employed. But we're seeing this changing. We're seeing Ugandans coming to Kenya to work as HR professionals. We're seeing Kenyans coming to Uganda and also going beyond the borders. I've got a couple of Kenyan colleagues that I'm working with, and also that I was previously working with in the UN. So we are sailing beyond the borders, and you don't necessarily have to be an employment law expert to go on, because now we're looking at the transferable skills. We're talking performance management. There are appreciations, there are global best practices that we're looking at the moment. While it's a barrier for the many smaller companies, for the global companies, this is not a barrier because they know you've got the skill set to offer. So don't let this really put you down. You need to understand what the laws are, definitely, because you're not going to work in really a space, but you need to be able to understand that. But they know that you have the transferable skills that could be able to be applied irrespective of whatever laws in this country. So that could be a big barrier. Also, there is quite a lot of sometimes challenges with getting work permits in some of these countries, and this could really make your life very difficult. They might need relevant experience in these markets, which also will make your life difficult. But don't let that put you down. It's everywhere. That's how life is. So we have to overcome this challenge. And now that you're willing to overcome this challenge, since you're all on this call, you should remember that if you're to work overseas, I already mentioned the culture shock. You're not going to have your family. You're not going to have your friends. You're not going to have all the people that you are familiar with. You're not going to have your favorite ugali, nyama choma, matoke. You're not going to have this food. Normally, you get that maybe once a year. So how are you going to manage without your staple food and something that you've been used to all your life, And this is where the challenge, ladies and gentlemen, really is. And many of you will appreciate if you really moved and worked in different countries. We've built our names. When I moved in Uganda, I just have to mention where I've worked and mention a few people I know. And they're like, oh, Mr. Alikwani, you're welcome. Now I'm coming here and no one knows me. I just sit on the tube, no one knows me. At my workplace, no one knows me. I need to build this from the start. And ladies and gentlemen, are you willing to do that? Normally, we're saying, no, I haven't come all this way, all this far to start afresh. Because really, it's really starting afresh because you need to build these connections. People they don't know about your reputation, which precedes you probably in your market. But here, I've seen a few people that have said, do these guys know who I am? Do they know? I'm sure that's a phrase you've had people throw around sometimes. Do you know who I am? And in these markets, you cannot say that because no one knows of you. Even a minister could come to a different country and walks into a mall and no one knows who they are. So they need to then, try and then build these connections, not based on recognition, but rather what you can offer. So this is a challenge that people can find sometimes, especially when you build something. And we need to find a way to overcome that. But how do we grow beyond borders? You may be asking already. And right now you're in organizations. So how do you start with this? Maybe it's in the internal opportunities. If you're working for the regional organizations, I mentioned the UAPs, the Stanchats, the Stanbics of this world, what are you looking out for opportunities maybe in South Africa, maybe in Nairobi, maybe in Tanzania? You could start with these in your own organization. I remember when my insurance organization closed down in Uganda, they transferred me to Tanzania. where I then started managing a team. And it was a very good learning experience when I lived in Dar es Salaam, learning Swahili, being able to manage a team that speaks only Swahili, and you have to find a way to communicate. It was really a very good experience, and I was grateful that my company was in different markets. And I would recommend, if your organization has and you have that interest, maybe you need to seek that for the future. Look internally and see, as part of your performance management or development, you can ask to be. I know colleagues that have been moved to South Africa to work within those markets, gain some skills, and then come back at higher levels. So look through internally and see if there are opportunities, and then go for them. But if there's nothing internally, use your current network. Guys, we need to network. We need to go to these events. We need to meet friends. We need to, so many WhatsApp groups that we are in at the moment. Currently, I'm interacting very closely with the people in Kenya based on the connections I made in April when I met the team from IHRM. And see, this is what I call now networking. I met the Grace, the teams, the Milkers, and we were able to then form a network and really push this. And so the opportunities start coming. Could you come and do something here in Nairobi? Could you do something in Kenya, Uganda? So network strongly, meet a lot of people, go to LinkedIn, whether it's online, whether it's physical, do lots of all these engagements to try and grow your network with the right crowd that you're in to seek these opportunities. Of course, there are some job search engines that we could be utilizing. I would recommend regional job search engines. There are quite a few of those that we are seeing. I will not name them, but I know in our respective countries, we've got these. I like a site called movemeback.com. It really targets expatriates in the Western world and tries to bring them back to Africa. And it's really one of an interesting, they will see your CV, see a role in Nairobi and ask you, would you be interested to come and apply for this opportunity? And so it's an area that you could look out for. If you're looking for example, performance management jobs in Europe, I like the site of PM Jobs. There are sites like Simply Hired. I already mentioned the regional sites as well. So look out for any job search and start doing. Google is always a good place to search. If I put in HR jobs in Google, you'll be able to start finding some of these interesting opportunities. And then you start narrowing down whether you want the development jobs, whether you want the private sector jobs, and you start fine tuning until you find where you would like to. Recruitment agencies also exist. Many of you are HR professionals, so I won't dwell so much on recruitment agencies. One thing that I would recommend is applying directly to the international companies. Many of them, especially right now in the summer, they're starting to put together these opportunities. So get your CVs, get your cover letters, get your stories right, and then apply for these multinational organizations. And hopefully in 2-3 months, this process will be going, will start going on, and then you can be able to see if you could move. So this is a very good opportunity right now. Multinationals, I'll be talking, you can go to the UN websites. I like a site, unjobs.com. So you can, if you're looking at the development world, where the big jobs are really, you could go there, or you could go to the likes of the LinkedIn if you'd like to target specific. So know which companies that are similar to you, maybe have your values, or that you would be interested to work for. And then start from there, do a bit of research, and then see when the opportunities are. And now you can get the alerts that when you register with those organizations, you can get alerts when the jobs come up, so that you just get an email, oh, this job has come up, are you willing to apply? So that you don't miss out on any opportunities. We've got career fairs. Many organizations, many are conducting career fairs where they bring people, whether online or in person, to present and share with them opportunities and sell the organizations to you. So you could look at the career fairs as an option. One new one that's very recent is remote working. There are now people that are working in Kenya, Uganda, and working for organizations that are based in the US, UK, Belgium. So many jobs are now being advertised as remote working. It doesn't matter where you're working from, as long as you have the internet and you have the tools that they need you to do, they are going to take you on. So if you would like to work for an international organization, but you don't want to leave your home, I would highly recommend remote working opportunities, and there are quite many of them right now going. So it is something that's really a very super hot trend, and one that's really going to grow very rapidly and ensure that people get the very top jobs that are out there in the countries that we live in without leaving our sitting rooms. We will just see you driving the very nice cars and wondering, how is that even possible? But yet you're working for an American firm paying you top dollar while you're sitting in a neighborhood in Nairobi. One option could be coming abroad, which is very difficult, I'll be honest with you. Going abroad and finding a job. Most times the visa that you go with does not allow you to do this kind of thing. And they would ask you to go back to your home country to apply before you then come back. So it's an option they recommend online, but I think this is more attuned to people who have, for example, if you have like a Schengen visa, or you work in the EU, you're an EU national, you could just go to Spain and find a job while they're there. But normally we have quite a number of restrictions that our visas do not allow us to seek employment while we are maybe on a visitor's visa. So ideally, this is one I don't highly recommend. But in case you are out there, hey, you could maybe start that conversation. I started my conversation when I was in Tanzania. They hired me to go to Uganda. I did my interviews at SGS Tanzania, and then I moved to SGS Uganda. So it's also possible to be hired while you're still in a different country. It's just how open that the organization is. One very top one, of course, you all know about is LinkedIn. I hope you all have your very nice profile pictures. I know Grace is very big on LinkedIn. You've got your nice picture, you've got your nice profile. People are just going to come and search, and LinkedIn will try and match the different people. So hopefully you've got a profile so that even when you're actively updating it with what you're doing, sharing some of your experiences, so that you are then matched to these different jobs. I highly recommend LinkedIn. If you haven't yet already, please join. And it's not only for the millennials or the Generation Z, even us that are not of those generations, we need to be quite active, because this is where the big deal is at the moment. So Grace, how am I doing for time? I'll just confirm before I can run through, because I want to.
You're really doing bad.
Okay, all right. So I'm just going to go quickly here now, because I really want to go to where they're asking questions. But before you go to any country, you need to research where you're going. Where are you going? You need to know the country, you need to know what the culture is, and you need to see how you fit in there. What are the entry requirements for these countries that you would like to go? Say, for example, in Uganda, what kind of visa would you need to go there? Where would you start from? How about moving costs? Some of the organizations like the UN, of course, cater for, if you're on the specific contracts, they cater for your relocation and for your family as well. But some organizations don't, they just cater for you. So how are you going to manage? Are you going to sell your home that you're in at the moment so you can go rent or buy a house in Kampala or Nairobi? You need to think through that. Of course, you need to build up savings. Normally the first 3 months, maybe you're not going to be paid immediately you get in. And so you need to have a bit of savings to help you adapt in these countries. Of course, thinking about the finances, living costs. Some countries you will not believe how many people I've met, and they still say, oh, in Uganda, this costs, the meal we've eaten is what we eat in a month, So many people really get stuck in how much they would have paid for that item in their own countries. So living costs is really one big thing. The job market, pensions. Are you with NSSF Kenya, NSSF Uganda? What does that mean if you go abroad? Do you close that, or do you continue voluntarily saving? You need to think about that. We did mention about buying or selling or renting your property. It's a big one and something that we can't take lightly if you're going to relocate, because your house is not going to sit there if you have a house anyway. Of course, you have to get ready for work. How do you get ready and get into that zone where you can be able to offer? For those that have kids, you need to think through researching schools. You'll not know how difficult this is. For example, here, there are Dutch schools, there are French schools. So where do you take your child? Do you go to Dutch, do you go to French, or do you go to bilingual? And those all come with different costs. So you need to be thinking about, are you going to be here forever anyway? Or are you going to study Dutch for 2 years and then come back to Uganda where there is no Dutch school? So gather your essential documents, plan ahead. Normally, this kind of thing is a 3-6 months kind of thing. You think ahead and give yourself enough time to plan and get in the right position so that, let's say by 2023, you are ready to go and make this move. I'm going to run this still quickly, Grace, ensure that your career takes off. Getting recognized, I did mention that it's very tough to be recognized in a new environment. Your name, your reputation has built elsewhere, and now you're in this new place. How are you going to adapt? You need to find your resilience. How are you going to manage your emotional, your mental, your physical? If you have a family, they all depend on you to help them settle in. So you need to be, you need to be strong enough to be able to persevere. Getting connected and growing relationships, go out there, meet a lot of people, interact, talk to people so that you can grow your network similar to what you had in your home country that probably you built over 20, 30 years. Also, you need to find how you can create value in your new country. You need to assimilate or adapt and be able to fit in. So find ways that how you can create, be part of celebrations, go out and learn the new things. That is all about the culture shock and really adapting into your new place. And finally, Grace, I'll just end with 6 steps to succeed. These are some of the things that I feel can work for many people. Be clear about your talents and strengths. What are you great at and what do you love doing? How are you going to use these strengths more often in your new job? So many of the time we are just doing our work. We're not really taking a check. So think through what are your talents, where are your strengths? And once you know that, you can tell your story. Formulate your positioning story. What are you famous for in your old workplace and how does that relate to how you can add value in your workplace? So if you are someone that was very reliable, you need to bring that into your new workspace so that colleagues can now learn and see that this is build a trust and the working relations that you will need. Implement good self-care practices. All work and no play will make you a very isolated and stressed global business star. I'll tell you, many senior people I've seen. My dad also worked in a global organization. So before I went to work, I saw what my family went through and what people around us did. The many colleagues of my parents who came and were very, very stressed because maybe they didn't move with their families, or maybe, the husband and wife are working elsewhere. And so the kids are living in another country, you're by yourself, you've never cooked a meal. Poor Said has never made even a cup of tea, and now you have to start from, how do you manage? I'll take you back to my friend who is now going out to buy saucepans as we speak right now, because he has to find a way to cook. The people that are cooking there, they cook once a week, put all the food in the fridge, and he's saying he's never eaten a food that's been frozen before. His food is always fresh out of a saucepan. So now you're telling him he cooks his rice on Sunday to eat it on Saturday next week. No. He's saying this can't happen. So it's something that you need to really think about. So grow your connections, do essential relationship maintenance. Don't lose connections with your home people. We have WhatsApps. Don't isolate yourself. Keep with all these contacts and ensure that you have a good support system. Focus on where you can add unique value in your organization, in the country that you're in. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end. Thank you so much for listening. I'll take some questions. Grace, I know you're burning with some questions. Thank you. Sorry for taking so long, but this is something that's really passion. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Said. I think you have really given us quite a lot. And it's good that you went all out in terms of preparing. And while you were talking, Herbert and I were on WhatsApp, and he's telling me that in 1995, he refused to take an international job because his major issue was food. Imagine not having food, and by food Africa, food in Kampala means matoke. Don't think it is your normal food.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and I have seen also on the chat Nelson saying he cannot imagine going without tilapia. So, I mean, some of these things. And there's somebody else who's also worried about her family in terms of taking international jobs. But anyway, I guess we all have these challenges, and we are hoping to grow. So I guess what you're saying here is we need to overcome some of those challenges. And I think my major takeaway from this is make sure your career is growing even while at it, because I believe that is also could be a challenge, especially when you get there. I've had people who have given up on careers because I mean, the environment is not very favorable. So right. Okay, before I get to the question, please note this webinar is brought to you by Atara Solutions in partnership with Balcon Housing and Stallion Construction Company Limited. Atara Solutions in partnership with Ace and Doyens have a dinner event this Friday on 29th from 6 p.m. This dinner is on this dinner is on HR metrics and HR analytics, and we'll be unleashing some tools that you need. So we have a panel discussion. We have a discussion around the tools that you can use for HR metrics and analytics. So, and there are a few questions that have come in, and I can see somebody, I think it's Janet, who is asking, for these international jobs, does the university went to really matter?
Thank you, Janet. And yeah, in some it does matter. We've seen many. For example, in the UN, they might specifically say you have to be on the WHED list. Those are the universities that they recognize. So sometimes it does matter which university you went to, because some organizations are very structured in terms of where they're looking for talent from. And unfortunately, not all universities are recognized, but that should not put you off. Normally, I've seen many people from different backgrounds. Normally, they would say that you have to have from a recognizable, maybe a master's has to be from a good university. Sometimes you can't choose where you start from your university, but maybe your master's you could choose and be more deliberate. I really would recommend, normally people who come to me, for example, in Kampala and say, where can I go for my master's? I tell them, maybe you go to this university, and to just give them maybe the skills that they need, because to be honest, there are some very good universities and there's some very average universities. Maybe it has just started, it has 10 students, and maybe the curriculum isn't very deep enough. So it could be a challenge. But generally, if you're from the respectable universities, and I'm Kenyatta of this world, the Makerres of this world, I'll take an example of Nigeria. They have hundreds of universities, and I've seen people move from very small states that I may not even have heard of, and they say, I'm from the State University of let's say Benin, and I'm like, whoa, I thought it's Abuja, I thought it's Lagos, but no, they're coming from all these very small states that maybe you've not heard about, and they're getting admitted into very big jobs. So it matters to some, to others it doesn't. So you have to be mindful and see if you meet the minimum criteria. I know some organizations that have a list published of the recognized universities.
Oh, right. Somebody is saying, I have always wanted a job where I can frequent abroad but not really move. Is this something practical?
Yeah, it is practical, because there are many jobs where there's quite a lot of travel. They say, and I like some of these organizations, especially from the US, they do say 30% travel of this job involves quite a lot of travel. Jobs like working for MasterCard, all these nice organizations, the foundations that are out there. It might mean being in one country every month for 4 or 5 days. So depending on, if you're seeking that kind of job, it might allow you to sit at home as long as you're committed to being able to move when required. If there is a workshop in Nairobi, and I know, Grace, you've met some of the colleagues that have been coming there on these different events and working for these different organizations. So that's the being very purposeful in terms of how you search for this opportunity. I like to travel a lot, and I like a job that gives me a bit of travel. So when they say, can you move 20-30% of the time, it means that this kind of job would require you maybe on a monthly basis to go and facilitate or attend some events in other countries, and they are there as well.
All right. There's a comment from Eve who's saying, I have come to forgive myself for a resignation from a very good job overseas in 2012. Now I understand what actually happened. Thank you, Said. I think that's an important comment to read. But somebody is saying it's really hard to get the same job you were working. For example, if you're an accountant or an HR and you move abroad, it's really hard to get the same job, is it? So.
Thank you. First with Evelyn. Evelyn is a colleague in Uganda, and she was in the insurance industry as I. Yeah, Evelyn, and I think it's good to really now check in and say that you have overcome these issues. And sometimes no one tells you these, and you can beat yourself without realizing. So it's good that you have come to really see that. But yeah, in a way, Grace, your second question, sorry, I got carried away.
Yeah, so it's from Harriet who's saying, it is hard to get similar jobs that you're doing, for example, in Kenya. If you're an accountant in Kenya, but to get a caregiver or a supermarket job in Poland.
No, it's not difficult. I mean, many times we think it is, but it can be challenging. That's true because, for example, you've been a senior HR manager in Kenya. If you're moving to, let's say, I'll use a global bank, you're not going to be a senior manager. You probably are going to be recruited to oversee a smaller team. And in a way, maybe your earnings are more, but maybe you're not overseeing the entire thing. So it's the context as well to see it. I'll give you an example. When I was in Uganda at Umeme, I was overseeing many things, performance, L&D for 1,000+ people. But when I joined the UN, I had to see, it was bigger, it was much bigger, but only performance management. So, and that is where the specialist comes in. Many of these organizations are looking for specialists, not generalists, which we do. Since we work for small organizations, we do everything. So it is possible to get even bigger, especially if you have the right experience. And in Africa, trust me, we have the skills that are needed here. We have the right experience. It's just being purposeful and seeing which opportunities are out there.
Okay. That is, but there's some people who think that it is like really hard to get a career job. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. With the fear that people go there and become something totally different from what they were looking for. And we have been experiencing that, especially in Kenya, where people have taken on HR. And I have quite a lot of people who request for my mentorship because they have not practiced HR, but this is what they would really like to do. And I know this happens in the international market as well. So how exactly do we position ourselves?
I think it's an interesting question because many people, maybe when they say they go to these countries, they go there first and then they start looking for jobs. And when you get into a country, when I went to I studied in the UK, but when I started looking for jobs, I worked in a bingo company calling numbers. I worked in a sports shop. Before I landed my internship at Oxfam. So I knew where I wanted to be, but I also had to pay the bills. So you have to start by paying the bills, and as you don't forget where you would like to go, because they're not going to come easily. They're asking for experience. They're asking for different qualifications, which probably you don't have at the time. Until you land on something, you have to keep working, but also you have to keep working. You have to keep looking while working. So it is important to do that. At the same time, right now, if you're living in Kenya, if you're still in Kenya, and I'm speaking to people who have 5-10 years experience, they're looking for these skills. I'm telling you, all the skills I learned them while I was in Uganda and in Tanzania. All the systems I learned, for example, SAP, Oracle, systems that are really high level. In Africa, sometimes we underlook what we're doing. We have some of the best systems out there at the moment. And that experience is really needed this side, because for them, systems do move, but maybe they're not using the new systems that we are employing in the banks, in the insurance, in the utilities companies. They are world-class systems that we have. So let's not underestimate the skill set that we have. Those are what people are seeking here. It is really searching, and you have to be thorough. Grace, you have to be thorough. And with time, you'll see that these opportunities exist. You'll see that you start getting shortlisted for these opportunities.
Okay. So, and before we continue, because I can see we need to actually, in the spirit of training and in the spirit of preparing ourselves for the global market, these are the offers from Pathway Solutions for this week. I don't know why my PowerPoint is, okay, right. Here we are. All right, so 3 people each, 2 LMS training courses of your choice. And here are the terms and conditions. 1, you must copy me and Frank. That is grace@atarasolutions.co.ke and Frank at pathwaysolutions.co.ke. Pathway Solution Services, whatever. I'll post it in the on the chat. So you get a chance to, so 3 people only get a chance to get this training. Please note, if you do not indicate the cost that you want to be offered, we will check you out. We will not offer it to you because of the demand. So we are looking out for people who are actually following instructions. And then, so there are 2 trainings. One is global business strategies, building a consulting business, managing a corporate branding, e-commerce management, social media in your business, creating a top-notch talent management program. So this you must be completed within 30 days. You must be expressing interest within 3 days. I don't think it's 3 days, Frank. It's today. If you don't write to indicate, it's gonna be today. And then you must write a paragraph why you want the free sponsorship. Please note, this is fully funded and we need to know why you deserve it, because we have quite a lot of people who are interested. Some of you send me your email addresses. I don't know how that would get you. Oh yeah, and Frank has put our email addresses on the screen if you can see it, grace@atarasolutions.co.ke and Frank at Pathway Solution Services. Solution for Frank does not have an S. Solution for Atara has an S. Please note, Frank at pathwaysolutionservices.co.uk. Please note it's .uk. And then grace@atarasolutions.co.ke. So you can send that email and make sure that you indicate why you think you deserve the trainings. And also, of course, it will be first come, first served. And then for the people who want corporate trainings, this is for 10 companies. The trainings on offer are building a human-centric organization. Please note that you have to indicate exactly the trainings that you want, okay? Blue ocean technology, corporate etiquette, corporate governance, corporate social responsibility, developing corporate behavior, introduction to medical tourism, 5 dimensions of culture, high performance team, that is remote working. The conditions for this are company training. You must indicate in the subject line that this is company training. This will be delivered virtually via Zoom or Google Meets, and this will be in September or October this year. You must write a paragraph why you want the free sponsorship, and then you have to indicate the company interest. No, Frank, this has to be tonight. And then you must select at least 2 courses and 1 minimum as a course. So for this, all this training, if you want, you must email your choices to Grace and Frank within, so grace@atarasolutions.co.ke, Frank at pathwaysolutionservices.co.uk. And please note, this will be delivered in September or October. 10 companies, and each will get 2 training courses, which are workshop-based, first come, first served. And you must send an email. Tell us the name of the company and key contact person and email. Of course, the training will be on Zoom or Google within 2 to 3 hours, depending on the course that you choose. So please make sure that you send your email correctly. Make sure you indicate the courses you'd like to be trained on. And then make sure that you have followed all the instructions that we've given, and you have given us a bit of a story, like one line or paragraph on why you should get the training. Somebody is asking whether you will be able to share can I share the notes, Said?
Yes.
Okay.
I sent you the updated version, so you can be able to share with them. Thank you.
Okay, and then I have seen Brian saying that he will start exporting matoke and tilapia for those of you who are stuck in your specific countries because of that. Okay, so we have quite. Okay, before we take the last comment from Said, his closing remarks. This is for the dinner. Okay, I had not stopped sharing the previous one. Or what have I done? All right, so somebody's asking about the dinner. These are the details. The dinner is happening this Friday at 6 p.m. at Golden Tulip Westlands. For the Ugandans and Tanzanians and Rwandese and any other person from any other country, we have an online the session will be online as well. And for online attendees, it is 1,000 shillings. But for those who are coming there physically, it will be 2,000. I would encourage that if you're in Kenya, please come physically, because it's an opportunity to network. And you have heard what Said has said. The networking will be your top notch. If you're, yeah, so that somebody had asked about that. And I know Nelson, please, if you're still with us, please put in the link. Oh yes, and for those who are here, you get 10% discount. So that means that you're paying 1,800 to attend physically. So just by tuning in to this session tonight, you actually get 10% discount to attend the dinner on Friday that is organized by Ace and Doyens in partnership with us as well. Okay, Paris, I've seen your comment about HRM and membership that you may need to email them because this is not a webinar organized by HRM. Yeah, so there's another question, Said. One is still expected to continue paying for NSSF and NHIF contributions. Why?
I know in Uganda you don't have to pay. I don't know how. I think Uganda and Kenyan NSSF laws quite similar. I didn't know that in Kenya you have to pay to continue to pay, but now there's the voluntary payment. To be honest, if you're in an international job, pension is really key. And remember, we had that great colleague, Mr. Waswa, who's on pensions. And he says that pensions, when we grow older, we should be very mindful about, contributions, because this is your money. And it's only 5% or 10% of your money, really a very small portion of what you're earning. And I would highly recommend that we continue to subscribe to this, because this is what you need when you retire, either at 60, 65, or 55. So it's really something I'm passionate about, the financial literacy that we need. I don't know if it's compulsory still in Kenya, but if it is, and you have to send, even if it's 2%, please do send, because I don't think you have to send 5% as it is right now, since you're not working in the market.
Okay. Somebody is asking about the recording. Yes. Although at some point I was kicked out, I was using hotel internet. That was not very wise of me. And those of you who are sending emails, we already have 4 people who are interested in the individual training, so a ship that has sunk. So if you want to do the company ones, then it's still open, because we have 10 organizations that we are looking to have this. There's another question, Nelson. There's a question sent to you on your private chat. Please let me know your response to that tomorrow 9 a.m. and get the 10% discount. The discount is only for people who will be there physically. Before we take on Said's last question, Jacinta, you can post our WhatsApp group link for people to join, so that they can get informed on what's happening on Atara Solutions. This is the only time we're actually doing this on a Monday. We normally do it on Tuesdays. Said, closing remarks. Parting shots.
Thank you so much, Grace. Thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity to be able to share with my sisters and brothers in Kenya, Uganda, across East Africa and anywhere they are watching from. Really, for me, this is a thing that I'm passionate about. In case you would like more information, please get in touch with Grace. She can find me and we can be able to network and share some tips. Many of you have mentioned that you've got challenges. You've mentioned your families and you've mentioned your different foods that you would like to. There are really quite many barriers that prevent us from moving and getting these jobs that we dream to get. But right now there are solutions. There is remote work that's coming up. You get the same job, the same money while staying in your own home country. So if there is an opportunity, please don't hesitate. The world is now very flexible. You need to seek and find the right opportunity. And if the kids are a bit grown, then you should go out there and find these jobs. I really think we have all the right skills and knowledge to be able to grow and lead in many of these organizations and institutions. And we need to cross these barriers and be able to, you know, deliver across the world. I really welcome this opportunity, and I hope, Grace, you can give us more time in future, and wish you all the best. If your question wasn't answered, I will try to look through the notes and we'll be able to share something with you through Grace. So thank you so much. Asante sana.
So thank you so much, Saidi, for taking the time, for preparing, and just for sharing. I am still excited for you to come back because you have to share with us the story of the suit. You forgot to mention that.
Yes, Grace. Maybe just in 1 minute. It was about being purposeful. I bought suits at the beginning of the year, and I said to myself, from this day, I'll be wearing suits. And I recall it was only the MD and the finance director that were dressed in suits, only to see me the next day wearing suits as well, because I was really now starting to prepare myself for the next job. How my image, how people portrayed me, I started from there. Within 6-7 months, I had gotten the opportunity that I dreamt about. And within another year and a half, I had moved to the UN. And so it's about how you prepare yourself. I listened to French every day for the last 3 years, Radio France International, just to try and get to grips with the language as an adult. So you have to be very purposeful. Don't look for excuses. Start now, work on it every day, because that opportunity is going to come and it has to find you when you're ready. It's like the player who is on the bench. You never know when someone is going to get injured, when the coach is going to call you to move in. And the worst thing that you can do is go when you're not prepared. Prepare, be ready, because don't wait until they call you and then you start practicing. Start now so that when the opportunity comes, you'll be ready. And that is the story of the suits. And I still have one of them that I'm still wearing, and I need to replace it because I've now lost quite a bit of weight. So I need more suits now, Grace. So thank you.
I always love that story of the suit. I mean, it's quite interesting. Where can you get the recording for this session? We have shared our YouTube channel link. That is where we normally upload it. And it's on the chat. Please subscribe so that you can get a hold of the recording. We'll upload it probably in a day or two because we normally have to do a bit of editing. But right, allow me to also just give a shout out to our partners. And just a kind reminder that there is a dinner on Friday, and Nelson is kind enough to give our followers 10% discount if you pay by 9 a.m. tomorrow. All right, so this webinar, as said, is brought to you by Atara Solutions in partnership with Balcon Housing and Stallion Construction Company. We call ourselves Get It Right with Atara Solutions because we intend to give you information that will support you in getting it right. So our Solution Services Limited, Institute of Pension Management. I talked about Institute of Pension Management. If you're on the call and you're looking to do your CHRP, or you're looking to specialize in pensions and understand more about pensions, then Institute of Pension Management will be there for you. We have College of Career Guidance and Development. We have FINA Gardens, Panessa Training Institute. weekly in Kapla Mintito, the Career Management Center, and Ames College of Business and Technology. So we appreciate you, our partners, for your partnership. And we really thank you that we are able to bring these sessions to our followers who would probably use the information. We thank you guys for always keeping it here. Thank you so much for everyone from Uganda, Herbert, Zakeb. I am only mentioning the people I have met physically. So thank you who wishes to continue following us. We do this every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Zoom and Facebook, that's where you will find us. And we normally upload our recordings on the YouTube channel, Get It Right with Atara Solutions. So we have ended the HR month. Yay! Happy HR month, July. This month we actually covered topics on HR only. So which was quite interesting. And I think, I hope we have made an impact to most of you, even those who are not HR. I have seen my friend Wafula, I've seen Genolago, and quite a number of people who are not really HR professionals. We really appreciate that you could join us, and we are very grateful. So see you next week on Tuesday. I was about to say same time, same place. Yes, same time, same place, not same day. We try not to do it on a Monday. So see you next week on Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. as we embark now on other matters that affect people in their careers and in running their businesses. So we appreciate you. We are grateful. Please join our WhatsApp group, subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us work, by the way. I'm a HR consultant as well, and we also do trainings. We can train your teams, please. And we also give talks in organizations. Yeah, and we also mentor people. So thank you so much for your time. And we wish you a really great night. Thank you, Frank, for your partnership with us. I have seen that. And happy HR month to you, Shamim, as well. Barbara, thank you so much. Thank you. Saidi, thank you so much. I have really, thank you thank you. You've really hit it. Yeah, so we will still come back and discuss the suit again about being intentional with the with your brand. And probably I'll also join you in the panel discussion. Probably I am looking into doing panel discussions from September going forward, so that we try and change things up a bit. So yeah, and Said has approved that we share the recording, so we will do that. And for those of you who are coming on Friday, see you then. For those who will be joining us online, especially those from Uganda and from Brussels. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that you make the time. So other than that, I can talk until tomorrow. So have yourselves a lovely night. And do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook at Atara Solutions. Like our Facebook page at Atara Solutions, and follow us on Instagram at Atara Solutions.